Last week we discussed how products are created and how they're adopted by consumers. We learned that some products make it and some don't. This really raises the question, what makes one product succeed while another fails? Well, one of the keys to success is effective product planning, guided by a continuous process of product management. Product management, and we sometimes call this brand management, is a systematic and team-based approach to coordinating all aspects of a product's marketing mix. Product management strategies and tactics are managed by product managers, or we sometimes hear them called brand managers. Product management is increasingly important due to the influence of technology as firms create products that grow, that reach maturity and decline at faster and faster rates of speed. So as you've learned in marketing, we have steps, and there's steps to manage products as well. So product management includes three big steps, beginning with the development of product objectives. Effective product objectives have to be measurable, clear, unambiguous, and they have to be feasible, and they also have to designate a time frame for completion. So sometimes objectives focus on a single product, or they might focus on a group of products, such as a product line. The second step involves designing product strategies that allow new or revised brands to compete successfully in the marketplace. And then next, these strategies are translated into specific tactics as product brand managers make specific decisions related to benefits, features, styling, branding, labeling, and packaging. And then finally, we organize for effective product management, and this allows you to successfully repeat and to manage this process. Now there's some key terms that I want you to be sure that you understand. The first one is the product line. The product line is the total product offering that the firm has designed to satisfy a single need or a desire of target customers. The product mix is the total set of all products that a firm offers for sale. So as you can understand from that, the product mix potentially could include several product lines. Now we have a couple of other terms that we use. The product line length is equal to the number of separate items that comprise the product line. So we say it has a very long length if we have a lot of different products. Full lines target many customer segments, while a limited line strategy has only a few variations that help improve the firm's image as a specialist. Additional product strategies may actively seek to expand or contract the product line. You'll hear us talk about extending the product line. This would require that brand managers develop new brands to tap needs currently unmet by the firm, or they may just be adding additional products in order to extend the brand. One method of extending the product line is to stretch it upwards by adding a high-end or a premium brand that either contains more features or is of higher quality. Alternatively, we could, during times when economic times are tough, we may choose to stretch the line downward by stripping a product of features or developing a budget brand. You can do both of these, and then we call it a two-way stretch. The filling out strategy adds new sizes or styles that aren't previously available between the high end and the low end, while the contraction strategy reduces the number of items in a line by eliminating one or more that we may decide are unprofitable or not profitable enough. Before expanding a product line upward, downward, or filling it out through the filling out strategy, firms have to carefully evaluate the degree to which cannibalization is a risk. You may have heard that term before. A new product cannibalizes an existing brand when it steals sales from a product that is already part of the product line. With a relatively large product mix, strategic decisions may affect two or more products at the same time, and so the firm has to think in terms of its entire portfolio of products. Now, often product objectives will focus on product quality, especially when marketing objectives are looking for higher sales or market share increases. Product quality is defined as the overall ability of a product to satisfy customers' expectations. There's a term you may see called Total Quality Management, or TQM. TQM initiatives can help a firm to achieve their quality objectives, and we define TQM as a company-wide dedication to the development, maintenance, and continuous improvement of all aspects of the company's operations. And you'll see many companies that have a very strong focus on quality and sometimes use this TQM kind of an approach. This figure summarizes the many meanings of product quality. There are going to be different kinds of customer expectations, and they will customers kind of define quality in their own way. These could be things like durability, versatility, precision. All of these can be important for different kinds of products, though all products need to satisfy customer needs. Some customers are going to value reliability, while others will value ease of use. Regardless, it's really important to recognize that each of these factors contributes to the level and the consistency of product quality. Now here's another term that will be important for you to understand, a concept, and that's called the product life cycle. It's a useful way to explain how market response and marketing activities change over the life of a product. Now notice the lines that are on this graph. On the orange and the red lines, and see how sales and profits change as a product moves through this process from the introduction stage all the way to the decline stage. In the introduction area, we may price our product high to repay research and development that we had to do to introduce the product, or we may price it low to try to get a foothold out in the market and reach critical mass as compared to other competitors out there. As we move into the growth stage, you'll see by the lines that sales increase rapidly while profits tend to increase and usually tend to peak around toward this area and this stage. And then in this one, marketing's goal is to encourage brand loyalty by convincing the market that this brand is superior to others. When we get into the maturity stage, this is usually the longest stage. Sales tend to peak and then they begin to level off, and they even decline while profit margins tend to narrow. Competition grows, and this leads to price reductions, and that has an effect on, of course, our profit. And then we also may, from a marketing strategy standpoint, want to do something like reminder advertising. And then we get into the final stage, or the decline stage, and this is characterized by a decrease in product category sales. Although a single firm, one of the market players, may still be profitable, the market as a whole begins to shrink, and generally profits tend to decline, and there are fewer variations of the product, and certain suppliers may choose to pull out. Now, branding is a very important part of marketing today. Almost all products are branded now. It's important enough that we're offering a class that I teach in strategic brand management. A lot of fun in this class. I really encourage you to consider putting it into your schedule. In this class, we learn how we get into the minds of our customers to help them learn about and remember the image that we want to have for our brand and the products under the brand. Think about your favorite brands. Maybe it's Nike or Apple or some car brand. And think about the attitude that you have about that brand. You might think it's cool. You might think it's very durable or high quality. Well, some of those are based on your personal experience, but many of those attitudes you have are based on things that we do in the marketing area. Good branding gives a product an identity, and this is really the key purpose of branding. So the technical definition of a brand is a name, a term, a symbol, or any other unique element that identifies the firm's product and sets it apart from the competition. Brand marks like the Nike swoosh and trade characters like the Keebler elves are all part of the branding process. So in class we'll look at some famous brands and the different brand elements that have made them successful, like the Michelin Man and the M&M characters that you're familiar with. Now, an important concept in marketing is that of brand equity. So to understand brand equity, you need to know, first of all, what a generic product is. There are not very many generic products left, but used to, you could go into a grocery store and you could buy a bag of sugar, and when you looked at the package, all it said on it was sugar 5 pounds, and maybe a little bit of information about where it was packaged. There were a number of these generic products which use this strategy that really is essentially no branding at all. Brand equity refers to a brand's value to its organization over and above the value of the generic version of the product. Therefore, brands with strong equity create competitive advantage for the firm by enabling the firm to hold on to a larger share of the market and to sell their products at prices with higher profit margins. So another way of looking at this is, what is the amount a consumer is willing to pay beyond what they would pay for a generic version of the product? Now, a brand is a lot more than just the product it represents. The best brands build a real emotional connection with customers, which in turn contributes to the brand's equity. Now, how is this possible? Brands that have very high brand equity, especially those that build an emotional attachment with the customers, benefit from highly loyal customers who are strongly attached to that brand. Brand loyal customers are far less likely to respond to special sales promotional efforts that are offered by competitors. And without the need to compete on the basis of price, the manufacturer of a high equity brand can charge higher prices and can limit the number of sales promotions that they themselves have to do. Now, there's a couple of key sources of brand equity. The first one is brand awareness, and this is related to the strength of the brand, or the what we call the node or the trace in our memory. And so there's two components to this. One is brand recognition, and this is the consumer's ability to confirm prior exposure to the brand when the brand, when they're given the brand as a cue. So you show them the McDonald's logo, for example, and they know what that is. Brand recall is different from brand recognition, and this is the customer's ability to retrieve the brand from memory when they're given the product category, the needs fulfilled by the category, or the purchase or usage situation as a cue. So if, for example, you said to someone, tell me all of the brands you think about when you think about fast food. If McDonald's came to mind, as it probably would, that would indicate there was good brand recall. The second source of brand equity is brand image. How do consumers and prospects perceive your brand? And there's various ways that we could talk about that. Now, there's several key branding strategies. We'll touch on them lightly here, and then we'll talk about them more in class. The first one is individual versus family. Family branding strategies provide instant equity for new products if the family brand is strong. It's a wonderful thing when you introduce a new product in a very strong brand, because that new product brings with it a lot of the attitudes that already exist about the other products that are there, so you don't have to go through as much effort to be able to explain what that new product is all about. Retailer-owned brands are called store brands or private label brands, and they compete with national brands by offering lower prices. Generic is not really used that much, but it's still a legitimate alternative to both national and store brands, but you could really argue that this really isn't even a branding strategy to have a generic. Now, licensing is an interesting area because one firm can sell the rights to use a brand name for a specific purpose and for a specific period of time. Think about the brand Star Wars and all the ways that that's been licensed for food products, for toys, for clothing, all this kind of thing. Co-branding is combining the two brands, and it provides more recognition than either of the brands enjoys alone. Now, ingredient branding is a type of co-branding where the branded materials become component parts of other branded products. Think about the Intel Inside logo that you might see on your laptop keyboard. Now, packaging is, we really consider this kind of part of this process, and of course it's the covering or the container for a product, but it's also a lot more. Packaging obviously protects the product, and it makes it easier for consumers to handle it and to store the product. But it also plays an important role in communicating brand personality. Have you ever thought about all that a package does? Look at this for just this basic product, chicken broth, and look at the packaging here. It certainly covers or acts as a container for the product, but it also protects the product while it's being shipped, not just from the store to your house, but all the movement from the manufacturer possibly to a warehouse and then to a retailer. And it facilitates your handling and using the product. Like in this one, you'd have an easy pour spout, as well as its storage. The shape of it will make it easier to store. But the package can also help to communicate the brand's personality with using things like color, words, shapes, designs, and pictures. There's also important information that it supplies, like nutritional information, the ingredients, the benefits, recipes in the case of food, directions, warnings, toll-free numbers, the pricing UPC code, just tons of information. If you will examine a package closely, I think you'll be amazed all the ways that marketers use that package. Now, hopefully you get the idea that it's not enough just to create a great product. You have to manage it if you want to have long-term success. And if you really want to capitalize on the value that it offers your customers, you'll consider making it a part of a brand with its own unique identity. So now it's time for you to take the quiz and show me all that you've learned from the video and from your reading, and I'll see you in class for more discussion on this topic.